Hey guys, we're going to be doing this magical bamboo forest with a lovely little bamboo princess. I'm hoping I can do it again. Let's try and see if it works out. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I am here with this magical bamboo forest. This is a color study that I did last night, and it's actually the second one I did. The first one I did was this, okay? And I want you to see that as you practice things, you get better. And I'm hoping that I get better on today's live show with the new painting. But this was the first one. Then I did this one. And now we're going to see if we can catch lightning in a bottle again, because I really like how this one turned out. I am using the Arteza Watercolor Pencils. I have a whole handful of them sitting right here in natural tones and greens, browns, a little bit of some reds. I also have a couple of the Arteza Real Brush pens. Believe it or not, her dress is bubblegum pink. The umbrella is another red. So we'll see how that goes. I am just excited to see people show up, and let me know if you are hearing this okay. My husband is doing some other work today. He might pop in to the chat, I'm not sure, but he has some stuff that's got to get done, and we're expecting a package to be delivered, and he wants to be able to get it before they make a lot of noise. You know, that kind of stuff. I am going to go ahead and just get started on this. I do have the link for the reference picture down below in the more information box. There are links for all of the supplies, the paper, and which is the Arteza 100% cotton paper. I really like 100% cotton for this type of project because it releases the pigments and allows them to move, and then it stays damp to be able to move things around. But then I will have to use a drying tool from time to time to move on to the next step, because some points you have to have drying. And I'm not seeing anybody in chat, but I see there's people here. So I'm hoping that this is all working. If it is, awesome. But right now I'm not seeing anything in the chat. If you could, say, hey, we're here. Maybe it's just my computer is being weird today. But we're going to get started on this because I have been, let's see, 3 minutes in already?
Kathy says hi. Janice says hi.
Okay, so my chat is not working.
Jella, yeah, Ingrid.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Please know that after the video, if you have asked any questions, I will go through and answer all questions in the comment section. I'll call your name out and then make a comment, and then I'll call the next person's name out and make a comment, unless, Mark can come through and yell a question to me every once in a while. Thank you. I really am surprised that this is not connecting to the chat. Maybe if I close the chat, pop the chat out. Ah, there it is. I can pop the chat out. Now I can see everybody. Hey, woo, yay. It's nice to see you guys. Please go ahead and share this video with your friends. Make sure and click that like button. If you're new here, welcome. And make sure to click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Now on to the picture. This is a simple 1-point perspective, basically. So I know people get a little bit about doing perspective. This is really, really easy. If you look, these lines are parallel lines and they're getting narrower as they go to the back. The center right here is shorter because it's farther away. And as you come closer to you, the bamboo gets taller and thicker. That's all we have to say. Because really, this is a magical forest and it's going to look different than the reference. Once again, this was my sample from yesterday. This was the sample from the day before. So just want you to see, you can do multiple versions of the same thing and it will turn out differently every time. And every single one of them is beautiful and every single one of them shows growth. So from there to here, now we'll see how much I grow going to the next one. I am taking, to start off with, an acid green watercolor pen because I want to get this bright green put in. You see how it's in the background here? And it's even in the background over here on the darker side. And it's really bright in the middle. And then there's white. The white is the paper. The green, just because, whoa, just because this goes on really fast this way, I'm coming down just a little bit past half. And very lightly working this across. You're always perspective when you are starting out with it feels confusing, but it doesn't have to be that confusing. Just remember to take it one step at a time. I mean, there's certain types of perspective that are just totally mind-boggling, and I get that. My mind boggles too. All right, so this is a watercolor pen. I have a piece of 140-pound, 100% cotton watercolor paper taped down to a plastic covered piece of mat board with washi tape. And this is just a paper tape with a low tack adhesive on the back of it, so it won't tear the paper when I peel it off. I'm going to use a water brush. This is just a plastic tube handle that has brush tip on the end. It has a barrel that separates. You fill this with water and then put your pen tip. It has a little valve inside that allows water to move through. And you do want a paper towel to sort of blot off the water on the end of your brush if it gets too watery too quickly. Now I'm just going to move this color around. We're going to do the top, then we'll come down and we'll do the path, and then we will move into putting in the bamboo. And you notice I'm not even worrying about putting the girl in yet, our lovely little bamboo princess, because most of this, the area where she is mostly, is on the path. And the path is going to be light colored, so we're good with that. This is going to be a little bit longer. My video, or my sample yesterday, took me a little over an hour, about an hour and 10 to do, and I wasn't explaining as I was going, so need some more water down my brush. I am kind of rough on these brushes, so luckily they are not too expensive. And pretty much anytime you buy an inexpensive set of watercolors, they include some type of a water brush with it. All right. See how I left this little window of light going through the middle? And I didn't worry about getting this completely melted in because I wanted it to end up looking like there's some leaves and things like that. Are you guys getting ready for some springtime weather? I know I am. I think that's why I'm heading towards some of these more natural green type of projects. I also have this Primrose coming up on Monday. This is a pre-recorded video that I am releasing on Monday. And I wanted to ask you guys, do you want it released as a premiere so we can chat, or just as a regular video? Leave that in this chat. You guys get to decide. Is it going to be put up as a premiere, this video, or is it going to be just a regular released video with no chat? Let me know. All right, I just realized that I set my pathway color to the side. That's not the pathway color. Where'd the pathway color go? Let's see here. Pale peach. I'm going to use the pale peach on the path down here. And this one, I'm doing it fairly balanced. Okay, I see one premiere coming up. Can somebody keep track for like the next 10 minutes? Keep track of premiere versus just released. And when I give the yell out, somebody tell me which one won, since I'm kind of focusing on the video right now. So I am kind of in the center making... See how this is sort of flat? But in this one, I went off into the distance even farther. You can do it either way. Mine will probably end up going off into the distance farther. But it's sort of a triangle that goes all the way down to the front of the card. See? And this pale peach makes a really nice pathway. You know, one of the nice things about doing it as a premiere or a release, you know, premiere, you'd get to chat during the thing, but then it's still a released video. So everybody will be able to watch the video still. But if you happen to be there when it goes live, you get to chat live with me. Then if we do it as a premiere, it's going to probably be at about 9:30 on Monday. If I release it, I could release it a lot earlier. If I don't have to be there to chat. Okay, there's the path. Right now, this looks like a tree, doesn't it? It looks like we're looking way up a regular tree. And we could do one like that at some point if you guys are interested. All right. I am so excited that everybody's here. Thank you. Okay, now I need to dry this real quick. And if you have any questions, let me know. I've been told this doesn't make too much of a sound. Getting in the way here. I see a lot of premiere. I see one release. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that like button. It helps a lot when people like and share. YouTube looks at who to share this video with based on who clicks the like button. So you click the like button, then people who like videos like you like videos might be interested in this. All right. So now I want to go in and I am going to take, this is yellow ochre, and I just want to get my basic idea of where the bamboo railing is. All right. So this is coming off the page, off the picture, off the picture. Every single one of these is coming all the way off. And it's wider where it's closest to me, and it's narrow where it's farther back. That would be in the morning, a.m. So it'd be about 9 a.m. excuse me, 9 a.m. Pacific time, or 9:30 a.m. Pacific. So sort of swinging this bamboo And I'm not even being real precise right now. I am just swinging this bamboo railing just so I know where these grasses all go. Because this grass stuff right here is being held back by those bamboo rails. So right now, it's starting to look kind of like a suspension bridge. See, you could do this in so many different ways. Using this technique, you could make so many different kinds of paintings. And my pencils are not sharp, but I do rotate. So I don't know if you can see that. There. It ends up being kind of faceted, so I do have a point on it just because I keep working my pencil and rotating as I go. 4-2, Premiere versus not Premiere. Thank you, Gina. And Gina, thank you so much. I saw that you had shared the video over on Facebook earlier before the video even started. That makes me happy. Now I'm going to go ahead and just grab this cinnamon brown and just put a line underneath so I keep track of where that is, because it's very close to the same color as the path. And it is going to have a darker color underneath by the time we're done. There we go. And these are bamboo railings, so they will get that texture put in with one of the brush pens at the end. Now, we need to get those big bamboos going. I'm going to take my jade green. Now, this jade green is really blue, but it works into that magical background type of look. So, and if you look here, there's all these grasses down below, so I don't have to take the lines all the way down. See where I left the white? I'm not going to bring those lines any farther down than that. So we're just going to start putting some lines in. And this is giving us the shadow working into the background. And I am making them shorter as they come down towards the railing, because there's this open space that's filled with the tops of the bamboo. Bamboo is giant grass. So just like grasses have those fluffy tops on them, this gets that fluffy top also. And they get shorter as they're away, and then they start to grow as they come closer. And the right-hand side is darker. There's less light. It's denser. So I'm going to be working these into being a much darker and denser space. But the spacing between is wider as you come closer to you, because we want to get a few really good heavy bamboos in here. I'm going to fill this in using a brush and water to soften this color. We'll dry it. We'll put the next layer in. I told you this is going to be a few layers, so buckle up, buttercups. But see how this blue-green just melts into the background. I'm going to leave some areas less painted in, and some areas I'm going to move it around. So that way we end up with some bamboo in the front and more bamboo going to the back. And it's all a matter of what your eye sees and perceives. Light things come forward, dark things push back, and it doesn't matter what color that dark thing is. If it's a dark color or tone, you will see it go to the back. See how this bright green makes it look like it's standing out forwards. All right. Will you guys be trying to do this? I love seeing when you guys do the video lessons and sharing on your Facebook or on Twitter, Pinterest, all of those fun places to share. I love it. Just remember to tag @deliberatelycreative. And Stephanie B, I love that there's so many Stephanie B's in our art community. It's so fun. But see how just getting that wet moves it along. We start moving into that magical range. Now in the original, there's this big tree down here in front. Yeah, the watercolor paper does make a difference. One of the things with the Arteza paper is that it has I'm going to go off here. It has a rough, grainy side, and then it has a smoother side. And you can paint on either side, which is something that I really appreciate, because then you have the options. I like having options. But what I was going to say here is that the reference has a couple trees sticking out here. But in my first one, I didn't do the tree down here at the end. And in the second one, I did do the trees. But I need to if I do the tree this time, I need to make it darker, because it's got the light behind it, so this would be much more in silhouette. Things that you learn when you do something multiple times. Yes, everybody is awesome though. I love all of my community. I just think that it's so funny that there's so many people that are Stephanie B that enjoy doing the same kinds of art. All right, so I'm just going to keep working this. And now this area back here, I'm going to actually let it go much more blurred out and start working more and more dark and not detailed. Now, I did a little bit of research, not very much, a little bit of research, and found that there's a couple places that have these magical bamboo type forests. And they really are forests that with huge bamboo trees. It's grass, but it's huge bamboo trees. So there's a bamboo forest. If you search for magical bamboo forest, there's one in Japan that's probably the most well-known. It starts with an A, and at the moment, the rest of the name escapes me. Google is a great place, though, because you learn all kinds of things. And a couple spots here I want to soften up a little bit more. Just getting it wet and melting it into the paper, just like that. Yeah, so Google is a great place for all kinds of information. All right, so we've got that background going. We've got the tree branches that are all fluffy down here at the end. I'm going to put the darker tree in right at the very end, and I think I'm going to do it all with the dark watercolor pen, just because it will go in and be very, very silhouetted. But we need to dry this again. Drying again. Yeah, please do check your paper, Gina. you will hopefully see if it will work. If it's 100% cotton paper, you should be able to flip it over and use the backside. If it's a cellulose paper, sometimes they only put sizing, the stuff that helps the watercolor paint move around on one side. So then you have to get paper that's the texture that you like. There we go. So now I want to go in with another green. This is my moss green. And I want to put some more layers of color. These might be slipping more into the background at some point, be more forward in other points. I want to get this very front edge dark though. There we go. I think that your hummingbird was so sweet, Gina. We never want to talk bad about our art. And if you have a friend who did that art, would you tell them that it wasn't good? I don't think so. I think you would be telling them, wow, wow, wow. Because most of the time, people are more impressed, not even with your artwork, but with the fact that you tried to do art. Because so many people won't even try it because they're afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. Pencils, paper, crayons, watercolor, whatever. It's not going to hurt you if it doesn't work out the way you intended it to be. But you are going to get better each time you try it. I mean, look at this. This is lovely. I really like this painting. I thought, ooh, I am so excited. That turned out really well. And then I did this one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now I see what I can do. This one's really cool. And this one is still cool. It's not as refined. It doesn't have to be as refined. It's looser. It's still magical. There's still a girl with a red umbrella in it. This one is a little bit more refined. There's still a girl with a red umbrella in it. Okay? So, and this one today may be like knock the socks off of anything I've done before, but that doesn't make these any less good. And that's what you have to do is say, at the point I was, this was wonderful. And it still is. This was wonderful. And it still is. So please, be kind to yourself and your artwork. Okay, that is one of my soapboxes that I climb on too. Okay, so I have used a dark green, a softer, but still dark, more yellowy green. So a bluey green and a yellowy green. You can do this with just a basic set of pencils and just keep layering. You know, if you've got a brown tone in your set of pencils, go for it. You know, put that over some of your greens and it will change the tone of them. If you want to make your green even darker, take a red in with it. It will make it darker. Okay, so I need to keep working though instead of just talking. Hello there. So we've got more people coming in. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here. Remember to click that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you are interested in, you know, seeing when I post new videos. And I do have Super Chat turned on. I do have a Patreon. So if you're interested in ways that you can help support keeping these videos live, keeping these videos on YouTube free all the time, I appreciate it. If you want to support my Patreon, the link is down below in the more information. I'm just squeezing this to get the water to come down the brush bristles. There we go. And I am feeling like this is getting pretty well put in on that side. We'll go in and do some detail in a few minutes. Now, look at this. I'm taking some of this green and letting it flutter out. Kind of like the little green branches. Pulling down some of that green to make sort of a soft glow down at the end of the trail here. There's going to be the grasses and such going in also. Lots of layers in this painting. Softening up. There we go. I keep looking up to see if there's anybody asking questions. I could go really, really quiet and just get zeroed in on this, you know, focus down really tight if I wanted to. I would go inside my head. I did that yesterday when I was practicing the painting before. Question for you guys. Now that I know I'm going to do my painting on Monday, this video is going to be released as a premiere. That just means when I am chatting about it to begin with, the very first time it's shown on YouTube, it will be a live chat. I will be there and answering any questions. This was done with mostly watercolor pens and just one watercolor pencil. And very few pens or pencil involved in this. A lot of fun. So I hope I see you guys there for that. It will be at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time on Monday. Yeah, I'm trying to let you guys know ahead of time. I am working hard at getting more information out there. Trying to learn tips and tricks from friends that are doing YouTube channel videos also. So, all right. Look at that. We pretty much have our magical bamboo forest in. There's just putting the little bit of detail and doing that with, this is a cocoa brown. I'm going to go in and start putting some of those little nodes on the bamboo. It's just two little lines side by side, boom, boom, with a space between. And you see how that all of a sudden just makes that look like bamboo? Kind of curve your lines. And then pick another one. Maybe this one's a little bit narrower. The paper is wet right now, so my brown is not as strong, and I'm doing that on purpose. So it sort of blends in to the background some. Softer as it goes away from you, darker as it comes towards you, and softer as it goes up also, because going up is going away from you also. Boy, also is my word right now, isn't it? And now, as you move down and going farther in. You don't have to do your double lines. You can just make like almost like little dots. There we go. And you're only really going to see the detail on the ones that are in front. And this one here, this is going to be, actually, I think I'm going to throw a little bit more darkness up here with this cocoa brown. Maybe allow it to emphasize one or two. So now I can go and just put a little bit of detail on this other side. All right, Kathy, thank you so much for being here. Have a great day. Let's see, just dot, 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 little dashes. See how that's making it feel more like it's going down, and it's bamboo. Tiny little thing. Boom, we have bamboo. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take that cocoa brown and give me another line of darkness underneath. But I'm not going to take it all the way back. I just want to get some right here up at the front. And maybe that one I'll take all the way to the back. And start filling in. But not all the way down on that bamboo. We are going to work this in an up and down motion when we use our paintbrush. But I just realized I need to start putting the girl in. I don't want to put her completely in yet, but I do need to start getting her in. I am putting kind of a darkness down here at the end of the path so I can let a couple trees grow up. So it feels like it's cresting a little bit of a hill. There we go. All right, before I get too far, I do want to take, let's see here. I believe I wanted to take, I don't know, I don't think, cantaloupe will work. This is cantaloupe. I could be using just peach or something like that. I am looking here. Maybe she's going to be a little bit closer to us here. Now, I am roughly putting her in right now. That cantaloupe is way too dark. Oh, that's way too dark. Let's see. Not sunset yellow. Peach. Wow, that peach is almost the same color. I am looking at this girl, and I'll do it on this one. It's easier to see her. It's basically a long wedge shape with a flat bottom. So it's sort of a triangle for her body with a circle on top for her head. We're not worried about where her hair is going or her features. They're just tiny little indications. And then we will put her umbrella or parasol on. But we're not too worried right now. We're just going to get sort of that wedge shape. She's going to be standing a bit closer to us in this one, I think. Okay. You've got almost a rectangle. She's not very, her shape is pretty much going to be hidden by the umbrella. But to start off with, we're going to do just like this. I'm going to take my bubblegum pink and put the layer of color on her dress. I will take another color to put in for the details and shadows. And I had put that extra pen on her face there. I'm going to look for my paper towel. Did I drop it? Dropped it. There it goes. Ah. Hello, Pascal from France, and Mary Jo, and Inga, or Eng, Engie? Oh boy, I can't do Danish names very well, but my brain wants to say it's Inga. Nice to have you guys here. I'm going to see if I can lift a little bit of that color out because it's a little strong. And I might have to use a slightly rougher brush. There we go. I love that YouTube is such an international place. There we go. So we're just lifting out. Oh yeah, that's good. Now, I'm going to dry that because I don't want the brush. I don't want the umbrella to blur out. So I'll just dry this really quick. But you see how quick and easy the girl going in is. Our bamboo princess. There we go. That's dry. I do not want rosewood. I want more of a... If you see me reaching over here, it's because I've got my tray of colors. Amaranth pink? Maybe. Let's see. No, that's too purple. Blush red. Oh, okay. Apparently the Primrose wants me to tell you that Monday, 9:30 p.m. a.m. 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to be doing a premiere of this Primrose. It's a couple watercolor pencils, watercolor pens, a watercolor pencil on watercolor paper. It's quick, it's easy, it's fast, it's fun, and I am excited. Now, I am just winging it as far as putting my parasol in. And this is really dark, so I'm going around, putting in my ellipse-ish shape around the outside with this, and putting my little center spot. And then I am going to grab a different pen. That's a... Nope, not that one. That'll be pretty for her dress. Ah, red. Let's go really red. And then I'm going to put in some red here. We will use the water brush to move this color around. It looks kind of like a shield right now, doesn't it? There we go. By moving the color around, you get some variations in your tones. And I'm just going to pick up some of that color and drop it right down here onto her dress so that it feels like her whole outfit goes together over her shoulder. Her head's going to move up just a little bit because of her hair. And when we put the details on the parasol, the little lines, that's when it really starts to feel like a paper umbrella. Those leaves on that Primrose were done with one color, one pen. for the whole leaves, except for a white gel pen. It's really, really very fun how it goes in. There we go. Easy, right? It was a circle, 2 colors, and we just sort of mushed them together. And mushing is a real word and is a real technique as far as my brain goes. Now, I want to dry again. I told you this has lots of layers and lots of drying. And if anybody's interested, this is the Ranger Heat It tool. I do not list it in my description because the new ones have not been coming out as very well rated. They've been pretty much not as successful in their newer heat tools. They have been overheating and such. But this was from 2017, and it was the highest rated one at that time. And I love it, and it works. But the newer ones do not. Now we have her. I am going to grab my dark, dark, dark brown. Where'd it go? Dark, dark, dark. Ah, there you are. I have a coffee brown, and I'm going to use that to put her hair in. So I'm looking at this going, her hair is up here on top of her head, as hair would be, and it's pretty much coming down around the back, and she has a bit of a bun. Now, this is not as, it actually looks more like a Peanuts character, you know, from Charlie Brown, or like the little peg dolls. And that's okay too, you know. She is a magical princess. Over her shoulder. Little lines. Little lines. You don't have to do a lot of detail here. I'm going to put a line underneath of her parasol. One coming down the front of her dress and one along the edge. I really did not dry this very well. And maybe one back here. Now we're going to put a little line underneath of that center spot. And then we're going to come out and curve over the edges of her little parasol. And I like to have it just ever so slightly come off the edge. And that just gives you that little bit of texture where the bamboo splines would be. And you just work your way around, going over and back. And doing that gives you that little paper parasol type of look. Again, this one is different. And I hope that that's okay with you guys, that she's going to be different looking than, you know, every time you do it, every time you do a painting, it's going to be different. I want to get her hair moved out a little bit. There we go. We will be putting a little bit more detail into the ground here in just a second. But to start off with, now I can go ahead and get that get those grasses between the bamboos put in. I'm using my water brush again. You'll want texture in that space. You'll want it to be, because it's like grasses are being pinned back behind the bamboo. You'll want to try and leave some of that bamboo railing not colored in. That's the hardest part, is that with watercolor you want to get it all colored in, and you need to leave some light there for at the end. I'm taking the cocoa brown again and getting some of the underside of that grass, this part down in here, put in. And every time you do a painting and you do it over again, it's going to be different. And that's part of the charm. Look at that. Just getting more texture. Some of that was on wet paper and some of it's up here on the dry paper. So that was the ginger, and now I'm going to take the yellow ochre and get some of that up here on top with the yellow ochre, working it down. We're going to start working it up in front of those bamboo. And now I'm going to take the cinnamon brown and work that up, because this side here is actually darker. Some of this is going to get wet, and some of it I'm going to leave dry. I'm not going to wet down or blur out these grasses up here at the top. So I want them to have that grassy feel to them. We need some of that going on this side also, but I'm working one side and then coming back and working on the other. So this area down here underneath of the railing is going to have to get a lot darker, but I left it, it was wet when I put those other colors on, so they're not going to blur out as much. That's okay. Now, this is a lot like those old-fashioned coloring books that you would get, or at least that I got when I was a kid, where they were magic coloring books, and the lines were all printed with water-based dye type inks. So when you went in with your water, with your paintbrush dipped in water, you could make really fun, different painting without having to have any colors. It was just like magic. This is darker, and then we've got some of the lighter stuff going on over the top. So now I'm going to just swirl that in. There we go. Wet just the base of that dark cinnamon brown and work it down here. Looks kind of like extra branches going up. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and get my bamboo wet now. Keeping it darker to the bottom edge. Basically, by working from the top and pushing down, my color will concentrate towards the tip of my brush, and it makes it almost like an automatic shadow. And a highlight. And then I'm going to take my dirty brush and start softening out right along these edges into the pathway. You know, I can actually make her face a little bit softer. I'm not as happy with that dot that I got in there for her eye. We'll see what we can do. Sometimes you just have to let things go and not worry about it. And just say, oh, well, you know, it's a learning experience. I need to get my darker brown in here. For those grasses that are being pinned back. This is that cocoa brown again. And some cocoa brown up here. Just getting those colors in. All right. I hope you guys don't mind that I'm just sort of chatting about or talking about the painting here pretty much. I am trying to teach you how to do it, but a lot of it is picking up a pencil and going, I haven't tried camel brown yet. Let's try. Ooh, camel brown's going to work nicely as a color over here. See, the sun is coming through the trees this way. It's hitting the tops of those grasses. I really like the effect here. That golden glow of the grasses. Oh, that turned out really well. I like that a lot. Put a little bit of this in here and then take that yellow ochre. Nope, that's honey. I want the yellow ochre. Brighter color on top. Hitting the tops of those grasses. Starting to come above her head. Put a little bit of that in here and maybe again on the rail. You know, it's sort of working back and forth, seeing what works for you. I like that cinnamon brown. We'll get some of that going in here. I'm going to put a little bit of that cinnamon brown on the path, and we'll work that in here. I like that golden tone it gives. She needs a bit of a shadow underneath of her anyway. All right, let's get this side all mushed in. Down here needs to be darker, but I think what I'm going to have to do that, let's see. Yes. There. Pulling her face back a little bit. A little bit of shadow. And I'm going to see if I may end up putting her face more in shadow. And we'll be able to take out that eyeball. But before I do that, I want to get this grass in. Thank you so much, Ingrid. It's nice to know that you guys think it's looking okay. I am... It's always interesting when you do a painting live to see how it's going to turn out, because, you know, it's not like I've got a really good undo button. And it's not like I can say, oh, hold it. No, I can do that better. I'll do it over again. Because, you know, when you do something on a recorded video, there's the ability to stop and start again, or say, you know what, I'm not feeling it right now. Let's just put it aside for a few minutes and see what happens. All right, I like that cinnamon brown on the pathway here. I am going to have to dry her, but I'm liking that her face is getting trimmed down some here now. That's nice. That's making me happy. I want you to see how when something is done live and things aren't going the way you expect them, that you can just keep working. I mean, really and truly, it's just paper. And we could have a really good laugh if it turned out, to not come out the way we expected. I don't have that problem right now. I'm enjoying this. I think that she's going to be lovely when we're all done. I am wiping off my brush. I'm going to go to the top here and work this color up without bringing that darker tone over the top. What we're doing here now is it's starting to look like these grasses right here are above that shadow. So it's like they're falling over. Hello, Jacqueline. Yay. Nice that you made it. I know times are different in different parts of the world, so it's always such a lovely surprise when people show up from so many different countries. I know it's nighttime in some places, or going on dinner time, and, I've just barely had my breakfast. Well, I had my breakfast a little while ago, but, it's early in the day. We've just come on noon at my house. All right, so now I'm going to just go ahead and hit that. We're going to dry this so I can get some deeper contrast in, because that's where the picture really comes together, is when you get the contrast. But we could say we're almost done, aren't we? Look at that. We're going to dry this. I want to get a little bit more contrast in, and I do want to put in that tree at the foot. And by putting in the more contrast, we're going to be able to tighten up that perspective a little bit. Thank you very much, Pascal. I appreciate. It's a lot of time and a lot of practice. That's what it takes, is just over the years I have practiced. And you start building up techniques. Now, I'm not by any means an expert with the watercolor pencils or things like that, but I have been drawing for a long time. We'll leave it at that. I've been drawing for a long time. I don't know why I just went it. Well, actually I do. I am working my little bamboo rail. Right there. But I think what I want to do is take my umber. I have a burnt umber pencil. And I want to get darker underneath of that rail. Really darker. And right around her face. And that's going to actually help me pull that back. And these farther away bits back here, I don't know that I'm I'm even going to get those wet with the brush anymore. You can use your watercolor pencils just like a regular color pencil too. So I want a bit of that area underneath of the grasses and under the edge of my bamboo rail. And I do want to see that texture down here and a bit of the texture above. Little lines to give you that indication of texture. And I do want to tighten up my perspective, and tighten up, I mean show that it's getting narrower as it's going farther away. You want the bigger view up close to you. So the bamboo is wider up here and it's going narrower as it goes away. The individual bamboos railings are going narrower, and the path is going narrower, and we're all heading back to this path, this point way in the back. Hey, you know what? Listen to your grandson. Grandson says it's cool, Nana. It's cool. And did you know that laughing at ourselves and laughing at our work, if it's done with joy, then it's good. You know? It's good to have that joy build up inside of you to where you just laugh about it and enjoy it. Let's see. I do want to bring out some shadow underneath here. A little bit of it out here. This is going to get wet. And I do want a bit of that cinnamon color up here on top. Just to give me a little detail in here. I'm not going to do anything else with that part. I am going to wet down this. We're going to put in the bamboo lines on the railing after I get this wet and dry it one more time. Get that detail in there. Remember, if you go at your color this way and push, it will move that pigment back, and you can then pull it out again. Or you just work it back and forth across. This was the umber, and before that was the cinnamon. And that was my mouse dropping on the floor. All right. Okay, I am enjoying this. And I hope you guys are too. Excellent. Excellent. And I love to hear that you're painting along, Carol. I think that is so much fun. All right. That part's good. I'm not going to mess with any more of this. I want to put my detail in, and then we have a decision on if we want to put the silhouette of these trees down here at the end, which is like the reference, or we could leave it without, because I did do one without the tree at the end. So what I want to do first here is go ahead and grab my dark pen again. This is the dark coffee brown. It has a very, very, very fine little tip on it. I am going to probably fix her face. That eyeball is way too low. So up here at the front, I'm going to take this coffee brown right underneath of the bamboo, that bamboo rail, and just work it to the back. And then on the underside of that bamboo rail, just tickle it with that very tiny little tip. There. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Just tiny, tiny, tiny little line. And then just tiny line on the bottom. This is just giving us a little bit more definition on that railing. Like that. And it's amazing, but as soon as we put those little bamboo lines on there, it will turn into bamboo. A little bit more dark underneath that, up here at the front edge. It's rolling into the background. All right, so now, right up here, we're just going to take this pen and give us those little bamboo lines. And I'm making, on this side, kind of like two little letter C's next to each other. The one in front is actually going to be a little bit darker. See, look at that. By doing it in that letter C type shape, you're getting it rolling around the bamboo. And they would fit these long, long pieces of bamboo together to make these super long railings. Very strong. To hold these grasses back along the path. Now as I go farther away, the little lines become less and less distinct to the point where I'm just getting some dots. I like the sort of randomness that this pen gives me. Because remember, bamboo is organic. And really, they didn't do anything except splice pieces together to make that long line of bamboo going away. Now, the underside here, I do want a little bit more dark. And it's okay if your line is wobbly. It's actually better if it's wobbly because it is organic. There we go. And there's more of that dark underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and just give myself a stronger line underneath. This is on the ground, below the bamboo. We're getting some shape in it that way. There we go. Same with this. Give it a bit of a line. This time we're doing backwards letter C's. And you get to a point where it becomes single lines and then it becomes just like little dots. And I'm just putting a bit more of that dark underneath of it, wrapping those little lines around. And draw around her little umbrella, maybe make it darker right behind her. And then just a few little dots as we're going off into the distance. Now, I do want to take my brush and just work a little bit of that darker area up into the bamboo so it doesn't look quite so bright and pristine. Yeah, a little bit of, we don't really need that to be quite so bright down here in the front. It stands out a little too much right here, so we're just going to dirty it up a bit, make it a little darker. As it goes farther away from us towards the light, it can get a little bit lighter. What do you guys think? We doing okay? Those of you who are doing this along with me, are you doing okay? Make sure and let me know. All right, now I want to take, not that one, that's not dark enough. I just want to get some texture in here. I don't know. Oh yeah, you can see the texture. I'm just giving it a little bit of dark. All right, so we're going to fix her face. How are we going to fix her face? I am actually going to take, let's see, what am I going to take? I actually want my white gouache, but if I can't find the white gouache, we're going to do it this way. Oops, stay back there. Because I can't remember where I set my white gouache, eh? Okay. Sorry about my wandering around here. I'm just going to take my gel pen. I am going to actually use this white gel pen. We're going to make her face. I've already done it. Okay. We're going to just make her face all white. I'm going to dry it off really quick. It is going to allow some of that color to come through. But it's going to make it a lot less stark. How about make that eyeball go away? Let's make that eyeball go away. All right, so that with the white pen is done. I want to take my, not the regular peach, I had light peach. Pale peach. We're going to see how this works. We're going to color that pen that was on there. Let's see if we go a little bit stronger up there. Come around. I know that I see, I want to actually, there we go. Shape her face. And then we can actually bring her hair in a little bit by using that white pen again. Give me the outline of where her hair is. I mean, look at this. She's actually becoming very princess-like, isn't she? Geisha looking now. Yes, very geisha. Oh wow. I'm I'm almost to the point of not wanting to do anything else to her. Hey, my son showed up. Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. Only here for a second before getting ready for work. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Thank you. I really am enjoying this. Do we want to put the tree in? I didn't see. Do we want to put a silhouette tree at the end here? I kind of think I do. Maybe keep it really, really simple and not as big. I think I want to do the silhouette tree, but that's up to you guys. We've been going for almost an hour and a half. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to go ahead and do the tree? It's only going to be like another minute. Hey there, Tanya. All right. I need to wait for you guys though. I need to not just jump in. If you guys are here and you have not already clicked that like button, please click that like button and remember to share the video with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can share. Pinterest. Pin this on Pinterest. That really helps out too. Okay. I haven't seen anybody say don't do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put the tree in. I'm going to use that coffee. We are going to go right over the edge of in the back here. I'm going to go up, 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 up. It's a wobbly tree. It has a branch that kind of comes out this way. And then it has a bit that goes up higher. I'm letting it wobble and then come out this way. Sort of disappears into those branches. Yep, I'm going for it. And what I'm going to do is on the left-hand side, I'm going to try and do just a tiny little outline, which leaves a bit of a highlight. And it's wobbly. And it's got these very fine little branches that are going up and out. Just here and there, a couple little fine branches. It's fun to do this with a brush pen. It's a little nerve-wracking doing it live, especially when you get a little too thick up above. So then you have to work your way back and thicken up the trunk to make it so that that branch actually makes sense. There we go. All right. There's that one. Okay, so mine got a lot thicker and a lot less bendy. Let's put one more that's coming across, sort of wandering out. And then what I think I'm going to do is use a watercolor pencil over the top of it to sort of soften it into the background a little bit. Yeah, Carol, Andrew is a good name for a son, isn't it? All right. Because right now that's a little bit too bright. I think it needs to actually be colored over. with like the jade green. Ooh. That's softening it in a bit. But it's still too bright. Or too stark. So I think we're going to take a little bit of the yellow. Give it a little halo. And then I am going to soften that up just a smidge. Oh yeah, because if I soften those branches with the water a little bit, it moves. And sort of blurs them slightly. I just didn't want it to be quite so starkly strong, I guess. Get it to glow just a bit. Soften up. Be a little more magical. I hope that you guys have been enjoying this magical little tree in the woods with in the bamboo forest. There we go. We'll soften that up around the base of it. Remember to breathe. Thank you. I think we have a beautiful geisha princess, bamboo princess. We're going to go ahead and sign this really quick with, let's see, I'll use a brush pen, but it's a black brush pen. This is a Faber-Castell artist pen, and I'm just going to do my SB, my glyph that I do, my little work it right into there. I think it turned out pretty well. What do you guys think? Are you happy? Let's pull the tape off and see what it looks like all finished. And I have used this tape for 4 paintings so far. I've just been taking it off and laying it on my table, just taping it down so I can pick it up again. All right. Woohoo! Get that out of the way. So this was the reference, and this is what we ended up with. And I can say without a doubt that I love this one even more than the one I did before. So now you can see 3 versions, okay? I started with this one a couple days ago. Then I went to this one yesterday. I liked it too. I thought she was very pretty. She still is very pretty. And then we have this one. The detail changes. And it's okay. It's fun to see things like that. I really appreciate you being here. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And then make sure to go out, do something creative, take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I want to see you on the next video. Remember, Monday premiere is going to be the zebra primroses. Zebra blue primrose. There we go. I'll see you then. Bye-bye. And now I've got to find my mouse. Bye, guys.